Hey, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another Not a Speed Run. Because I thought if I'm going to try a whole new kind of repertoire and approach, if you've been following recent videos, a speed run is a great way to go about it. And so we're going to do something completely different. Okay, so what's the repertoire going to be? Well, it ain't complicated. And it's all horsey first stuff, right? So, as white, we've already discussed this, I'm going to play the Zukertort opening and hopefully get into like the Reti Gambit, okay? But, as we've seen, this is super flexible, right? And can go any kind of way, so you could find yourself in all kinds of openings. So we're going to get to try a lot of stuff out, and the point is we're going to get into playing chess, right? So it becomes less about trying to remember theory of different gambits and stuff like that, because you've seen all of that stuff, right? The people who follow this channel tend to follow this channel quite closely and watch most of the videos. You don't want to see the same crap over and over again, all right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Okay, anyway, what we're going to do as black, well, we're going to follow a very similar approach, right? So as black, against e4, we're going to bring out the opposite knight. And this is called the Nimzovich defense. And it ain't the most common thing in the world, which is interesting. So let's look, because we're going to be starting, we're not going to be starting playing Grandmasters, no. We're going to be starting at the beginner level. Okay, so let's set this to 400,000, 400 to 1,000 on each, yeah? Your e4 player faces e5, lots, 58%, d5, the Scandinavian, c5, the Sicilian, e6, the French, c6, the Caro-Kann, d6, the something terribly boring, and then knight f6, which is the Petrov, isn't it? And g6, and then knight c6. The knight c6 is like played in 1 in 50 games, so people just don't play it very often, okay? But it is perfectly valid. So, shall we? Shall we? So I've got a new account. I am Mr. Bendy, because the idea is we're going to be all flexible. I don't want to see alerts. No, thank you very much. This is a brand new account. Right? Play fair. No help from players. Finish every game. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, MrChess.com. Sir. Do I have a rating? Okay, searching for an opponent. And we've got white, so we're going Zukertort. Could have called it Plan Z, couldn't I? And there we go, and we're going to go straight into the Reti. This is good. Oh, hello. Right. We're on our own, guys. We're flying solo here. I mean, I could theoretically take the pawn. That would bring the queen out into the board. I think I can just play e3 as well. So the point is, if they take here, you'd play e3 and threaten to recapture the pawn with a bishop, right? But then you've got two central pawns and black doesn't. So I don't see anything wrong with e3 here. Yes, it makes the knight now pinned, but if they take, I can recapture with the queen. That's free development. If they take here, I can recapture with the bishop. That's free development. And it targets f7. So I haven't learned any theory with this. The whole point of this is, it ain't about openings. It really isn't about openings. It's about playing chess. So that's what I want to get into this new series, is much more of a focus on just playing chess. Everyone gets so hung up on openings. You know, I do. Happens. Anyway. So, opponent is Dino Sheet. Okay, there is now a tactical threat. What is the tactical threat? Well, the knight, as we know, is pinned. This in itself is not a problem. So, I could take the pawn, but I would lose my queen. That would not be sensible. Okay, we do not want this. I can't move my knight right now without losing the queen. Okay, now the threat is that the pawn that's on e5 pushes forward to e4, attacking the pinned piece. Any piece that is in a pin the first thing that should go through your mind is, can it be attacked by a pawn, right? Now, should it be attacked by a pawn and it's still in the pin, I'm going to lose material. I have to give up the knight or give up the queen. I don't want to do either. So what we now have to do is we have to break the pin. There are two things that I could do. One is block the pin, intercept, right, with my bishop, with bishop to e2. Another option to get rid of the pin is to move the queen. Now I can't go to this square because that's still on the same diagonal, so the pin still exists, and e4 would follow, and I'd lose material, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Let us examine the options. This is a developing move and prepares castling. That is not a bad thing. I like that. That's absolutely fine. Queen a4 comes with check. And in order to get out of check, black will either have to block with his knight, block by playing pawn to c6, or queen to d7. I don't think I like that as much. Oh, hang on. One thing I didn't consider is, if they take here, I wanted to recapture with my bishop, and now I can't. Should have thunk that through a little bit more. If I'd have taken there and queen takes, I mean, that's assuming queen takes. But the thing is, I have takes here and winning a knight. So why would they just take back with the queen when there's a whole knight on the table? Fresh horse meat on the slab. So, good luck, Mr. Bendy Wendy. Oh, I need a picture as well. I need to get a picture on it, don't I? Probably best had. Okay, Dino Sheet is from the UK. Do we know anything about this individual? Oh, they've taken. Okay. It just changed to +3 because they've taken our knight. Okay, two options. Takes with the bishop. Benefit of that is it gives the bishop actually more scope. Or take with the pawn. Take with the pawn I do not like. The downside of taking with the bishop is that he can take this pawn. But then, if he does, hello, look at that. Isn't the b7 pawn suddenly dangling in the wind? But they could play e4 now. But then I'll probably just put the bishop back and happy days. I'm not even down a pawn right now. Plus, I have the bishop pair. Now, as things stand, this is a good situation in which to have the bishop pair. Why? Because all the pawns on the board theoretically can move, right? We don't have any pawns knocking heads in the middle of the board. We don't have any closed files. When you have closed files, it makes life harder for bishops. So what we have right now is a situation where, yeah, that's exactly, very correct English, Auntie, well done. So in theory, these bishops can have lots of mobility on the board. That's all good, right? Plus, what's more, in an endgame, particularly with a wide open board, with lots of lines where bishops can move around at high speed, having two bishops can be a big advantage. So strategically, already, I'm thinking I would like to hang on to that bishop pair if I can. All right. So it's calling this now the Reti opening Reti Gambit, interestingly. So here, chess.com calls this the Reti opening, not the Zukertort. Interesting, like Mr. Gantz did on Queen's Gambit. Okay, we've got action, hang on. So takes, we took back, and now they've advanced the d-pawn, okay. Righto. But that, as we've seen, hangs b7, and that actually does nothing to prevent me from having the rook for my dinner. Rook pie. Interestingly, the nursery rhyme, there goes 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. The blackbirds in question, we believe, were rooks, a member of the corvid family. Okay, so we're actually up 6 materials already, and my opponent is starting to wazz out his moves really quick. So, we've got 12 minutes, guys. We can chill. Yeah, we are the dude. We abide, right? And that's kind of also the theme of the opening. you know. Yeah, you know, well, that's kind of your opinion, man. You know? Great movie, The Big Lebowski. If you haven't seen it, and you're of adult age, go and see it. Brilliant. Get it. The number of just classic scenes. The first scene, the rug scene, when they're talking about the dude's rug in this webpage is using significant energy. Closing it may improve the responsive. Yeah, I know, but the reason I'm using my Mac is because I want to play chess. Duh. Yeah, the rug scene. What tied the room together, dude? My rug. Were you listening to the dude's story, Danny? Huh? Were you listening to the dude's story? I was bowling. Then you have no frame of reference, Danny. You're like a child. That's... Oh, man. Watch that scene. Just put in, I don't know, Big Lebowski. Rug scene. It's fantastic. Okay, anyway. Enough of that nonsense. Back to this. Right, so. I've burned a load of time in talking nonsense. Okay, what do we have? They're defending this pawn against nothing. We've just won a rook. Hello, happy days. I would like to extract my bishop before it gets trapped. But then you have to say, well, actually, how can black trap my bishop, right? Can put his knight here, don't work. I just take it with check. Ha! Right? I can't put it here because knight takes, but I could put it on this square. Nothing wrong with that. However, I might want to bring my queen out to the board, you know? So is the bishop in danger? I don't think so. Right? What else have we got tension-wise on the board? Well, these two pawns are staring off. But like take. He might trade queens. I don't care, he's down material. So I'm just going to castle now. Because now if he takey, I can recapture with a rook. And he's just made a significant additional hole in his army, innit? I can stick my bishop here, which is quite good because it's on the same diagonal as where that king right there is likely to go. Man, what a film. So what's he going to do now? In fact, okay, what should we be doing rather than just sitting here, you know, scratching our asses, right? When your opponent's thinking, well, you should be thinking about the strategy side of the game. This is a good general tip. Think about the strategy. Okay, well, strategically, let's assess. Okay, we are castle, black isn't, but could castle anytime. We're up a big lump of material. We have an extra pawn and an extra rook that our opponent doesn't have. Therefore, it's in our interests to swap stuff off. Pawns, pieces, get down to an endgame as quickly as possible, and we're going to have a crushing advantage. Okay. So, now he's castled, and now we think tactically. Now it's our turn, right? What are we going to do? We know what we're going to do in general. We're going to try and set out to win. Now, you might be tempted like pawn e4, but that's closing down the centre. And then if we were to stick our bishop here, we've got c6, and actually we trap our own bishop. So I'm just going to start trading off, man. I'm just going to swap off whatever I can. I don't care. I want your bishop off, I want your knight off. If I can make equal trades, happy days. I might end up sticking my bishop all the way back here. It might even go here. I don't want it trapped. See, previously, before this, I might have had the option of, if the knight comes out, I take the knight. I mean, I guess that's still on, isn't it? So now I'm attacking his bishop. Now he's got to do something. So this is a tempo move, as in I've really narrowed down what my opponent can do on the next turn. Because something has got to involve not losing your bishop. Well done. Solution found. I could play d3 and try and stick my bishop here. That ain't stupid. Could play my knight out. It's a developing move. That ain't stupid. Don't think. I mean, I do have, and say so myself, an immense capability of finding stupid moves in any kind of position. I think knight out looks sensible. Also defends these squares where my bishop might want to go. So, just develop. Let's not make this overcomplicated. Just develop. Over to you, Dino Sheet. And the black tea as well. I might even try cutting out the black tea. It does have a lot of oxalates in it. Oxalates are one of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of plant defense chemicals that can cause interesting problems. But not so much while you're taking them, but they can. They can build up in your body. You find them in black tea, almonds in particular, and certain green leafy veg like spinach. Right? If you're juicing spinach, stop. Right? If you're making spinach smoothies, stop. These oxalates build up, and it binds to calcium. So they find their way into almost every tissue in the body, including the bones, right? And then one of the problems is that when you stop it, your cells all go, okay, there's no oxalate going around the blood system, and so it releases all the oxalate in one go. Or all the cells go, yay, we can get rid of the oxalate, send it to the kidneys for excretion. But then you get like an oxalate dump. And because they're like very spiky things, that can lead to kidney stones, and it can also lead to arthritic symptoms like gout. So I think that it's oxalate dumping that caused my gout issues for a couple of years, which now seem to have gone, by the way. Okay, if you want to know more, this is not the channel. Follow Sally K. Norton or get her book Toxic Superfoods. Excellent. Right, I'm going to take with this pawn. Why? Because trading queens is good for me, right? I don't have to do much now. Right, we're 11 moves in now. We've chessed our way to a good enough advantage. All I have to do now is not be a dickhead and mess it all up. Right, and again, it's a tempo move. I'm putting the question to black, saying, "What are you going to do, son?" Right, I'm threatening. I've got a threat in it. I've got a threat in your queen. So it ain't all about the openings, boys and girls. Huh, okay. So this is interesting. This is blocking the attack from the queen and creating a discovered attack on the bishop. Look at my opponent. He's doing two things at the same time. Right, the page is still using significant energy. I'm going to leave that message there because it's going to keep coming back and annoying me. Right, I can't take. I think it's time to move the bishop. Now I can go there, but why? I mean, seriously. I mean, what can it see from there? All the wrong bits of the board. This looks good though. Knight could take it, but that's not bad. I can take back with the pawn. I can take back with the queen, but I do lose the bishop pair. Important decision. Do we want to give up the bishop pair? I don't mind. I think my material advantage is so major now that giving up the bishop pair shouldn't be any skin off my nose, to be fair. I just recapture with the pawn. I don't see any great need to bring the queen out yet. I think my bishop might well go to e3 to have a sniff around that pawn, and we're just gonna grind our way down. Just gonna grind it down now. Bump and grind. Knight goes there. Is there a particular reason for this move? The first thing that springs to mind is b4, saying bzz, 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 bzz. Right? He could go there. I could trade off. Bishop takes, knight takes bishop. But before I'm doing that, I'm checking for threats. I see none. Raise the tempo. Honestly, just that little extra bit of just going, okay, if I do this, is that sanity check thing makes such a difference, especially in Blitz. My golly gosh. I mean, I dropped down to 1190, something like that in Blitz, over a few days when my sleep was disrupted and I was just incredibly thick, right? And now it's like bounced up 1270 or something like that in a few games because I'm winning every time. I'm beating these guys at the 1100, 1200 level because I'm not doing stupid shit. I'm sanity checking my moves. It makes such a difference. It really is worth a couple of 100 points at least. Okay, Knights on the Rim are dim. He ain't going there in a hurry. He ain't going there in a hurry. He ain't going there in a hurry. Pardon me, breakfast. What on earth are you thinking putting your knight there? Put it there. You can put it here. Pardon me. Okay, time to bring the bishop out into the board. I still haven't completed development. I probably should be thinking about it. Why not pin the knight and cause a headache for black at the same time? So we're going to be learning all this stuff together. Like I said, with this opening, you could get into anything. Oh, there's so many different openings we've seen. Okay, the knight is still pinned. So what exactly is the point of that move? I mean, I wasn't really threatening any kind of winning the queen because the queen's defended by the rook, right? I'll tell you what, I'm leaving these pawns here. I could move this one, maybe, but why? Okay, I think now rook e1. Let's create another pin. Now, both of these things is pinned. Neither of these things can move. I mean, to be fair, the pawn can only move forwards anyway, so it can move. Actually, yeah, technically the pawn can move. All right. Yes, the pawn can move, but I will take its ass. And the knight can't take back because why? It's in a pin. So's the pawn. But the interesting thing is the pawn cannot vacate the e-file. So I could, for example, think about the move f4. It might not be a very good move. Okay. Queen e has left the building. Queen e has now gotten off the e-file. Now, interestingly, if I get to take this and black cannot recapture with the queen, the only way to keep recapture would be with the g-pawn. And that would not be good, particularly when your opponent has more rooks than you've got. Now, so what I would love to do would be to encourage the queen to vacate these here squares. Now, right now, she's only got two of them available. She's only got this one and this one. And by the way, we've gone for a wood theme as well for this thing. Just you know, just mix it up a bit. You know, I'm spoiling you. So, the move c5 springs to mind. Okay. Now, the bishop is defended by my queen. So here, the bishop would be guarding this and this pawn here on c5 would be guarding this and this, right? Which makes life difficult. However, we might have to worry about... Hey, Woody. Oh, yeah, he's licking my bowl for my breakfast, isn't it? Might have to worry... No, knight takes here isn't a problem because we take the queen with our pawn. But what if we pushed c5 and queen takes? Right? Then I think, though, I take the knight. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. So the queen now cannot stay on that 6th rank. What that means is, if she's going to defend the knight, she has to go back here and repin her own pawn and repin her own knight, or go back here, in which case the knight will be pinned but the pawn won't. Yeah? So the queen, I think, is going to have to go back to one of these squares. Queen takes here, I just take the knight. Actually, that's not very good, is it? Hang on. I lose a piece, they lose a piece. Trade queens. Okay, so that was actually a mistake from me. Right, do you get why? They take. If I trade, I've just lost a bishop. Okay, they take. I take the knight was my idea, and mess up their pawns. But they would take the bishop. I would take the knight. Queen takes queen. Rook takes queen. Bang. Yes, I've messed up their pawns, but I've lost both bishops for a knight. Not clever, Precious. Not clever at all. Okay. Now, we're back to this situation with 2 pinned pieces. I could just drop my bishop back to a safer location. That ain't the end of the world. I could play like f4 and attack this pinned pawn. But if I play f4, if he plays e4, I can take with the rook actually. So it does actually feel like it might be quite aggressive. If I take here, queen's going to recapture. And there I don't see much. Let's play f4. Down to 5 minutes 20, because you've been keeping me talking and distracting me and stuff. I bet everyone, £1 to a penny, that this channel is funnier than watching Grandmaster Ben Feingold. Jesus wept. Ben, stop trying to be funny. Right? You're a great chess player. You're a shit comedian. Stop it. Cut it out. Please. For everybody's sake. It's embarrassing. Okay, there I said it. Am I in a bad mood? I don't know. Right, he attacks my bishop. Can I take the knight? That's the thought. I mean, if I take the knight, I'm attacking the queen. And having a bishop under attack becomes a non-issue, right? However, could I just do this and attack the queen? Right? Rook takes e5. Ouch. Boom. Might even be worth a shakalaka that, I don't know. But it's definite. There's a definite boom in there. Yeah? I might retreat the bishop. Oh, my rook's defended by the pawn, so queen can't take the rook, yeah? The knight is in a pin. The queen's under attack. The knight's under attack. The queen wants to defend the knight. The only way... So she's going to end up going back to d8, innit? For real. So queen d8 is guaranteed, I'm thinking. I mean, she can't defend it from there because of Pawnee. Anything else, obviously can't stay on any of these squares, right? Can't go there. Anything else, I'm just going to take that knight. G takes. There we go. Oh. Well, there you go. Good job we weren't betting on that particular move. So I see what she's doing actually, because what she's doing is she's defending c6, which is otherwise undefended, right? This is a problem. This is what you see. Loose pieces, loose pieces. This stuff is all undefended. That's defended once. That's defended now once. You know, king defends all of this, right? On my side of the board, one undefended thing. Now then. I could drop the bishop back. I think I'm inclined to just take the knight. Should we just take the knight? But then my bishop's also under attack, isn't it? If I take the knight and they take the bishop, now let's see if we can get an improved version of our... I take the knight, they take the bishop, I just withdraw the bishop to one of these squares. And they've just pinned a pawn. Or I just... See, but if I use my move to withdraw the bishop, they can save the knight. So I'm going to trade. I'm not going to think too much about it. They might take this bishop. Actually, that comes with an attack on the rook. So, but then I have a check, which could be pretty good. The only move is king h8. Then so again, I mean, I could lose a piece here if my opponent is switched on and calculating, because this comes with a continuity threat. That's the problem. It's not just a... in fact, yeah. If he takes this bishop, it's not an issue, right? Because this bishop just can run away. Right? If he takes this bishop, it is an issue, because then I've got 1, 2 pieces under attack. Yeah? That's the issue. There. Well done. That was good. Okay. Now I have a check, though. And hang my queen. Oh, no! You wally. You absolute muppet. Okay. Oh, no, my bishop. Do you remember what I said about the sanity check? Okay. Well, thankfully, thanking our lucky stars, opponent fell into my trap. Yes. It's known as a pin. Oh, we haven't got pre-moves. So that's probably a good thing. Jesus Christ. Fuck me. Oh, man. There's him sitting there going, oh, you know, sanity checks, it's worth several hundred points. Aren't either one with egg on my face. Okay, you have to take the rook. Okay, there we go. Right. Houston, we have a situation. Right then, game on. Game on. Fresh cup of tea, nurse. Thank you. Right, with me. Let's go. Avengers assemble. Okay, right, strategically. Okay, in fact, let's deal with attack. We've got 3 minutes 30 left, okay? This pawn defends this pawn. If I take this pawn, he takes this pawn. That ain't the end of the world. I can live with that. Okay. He's going to take this and attack this. I can counterattack the knight. Because if I move the rook away, this falls. That ain't going to happen. So you do this, I'm doing this. Okay. I'm going to get my rook behind my passed pawns. These are passed pawns. Reason why, they ain't no pawns on any of these squares. Okay. So the only way that black is going to stop these pawns is by capturing one with a piece. Okay, sanity check. Now he has a 3-way fork here. Yeah. Okay, I think I want to keep these two connected pawns. Okay. So I will be 2 pawns down, but I think, don't I just have a skewer then? Maybe I do. Now my pawns on this side are better than his. The reason is that my pawns are together. So I can, with one pawn, stop. It's like, you know, hold. I can stop both of his pawns with one pawn, or a piece. Yeah, so what I was saying is with these guys, because they're passed pawns, if they start heading up the board, yeah. So he can come back here again with another fork. I can win this. He can win one of these. Right, I now want to advance and I can't immediately. So should we do this? Or do I now activate my king? He's got an extra knight. I have one extra pawn. This isn't a great situation to be in. I can't do that immediately. I might kick the knight away. He can go there. I can push. My hunch is activate the king. Can't believe I'm buggering up my first speedrun game. However, it does mean we'll start at a very low rating. I don't have a rating yet, because I haven't played even one game. I told it I was a beginner, not just learning the rules of chess. Okay. He's attacking this pawn. Pushing it is not an option. This pawn is defended. This pawn is defended. This pawn ain't defended. Right, so I've got a couple of options. I can attack the knight, or I can attack this pawn here. The rook can't defend the... Oh, it can. Yes, it can. I think this, and then I've got a situation where my pawn's under attack and so is my rook, and I don't want to trade rooks. So I'm going to attack the knight. So I've just blundered a queen. I mean, look, guys, it happens. Do you know what I mean? You want to watch Grandmaster level chess, you watch Grandmaster channels. It's all one. It's the... Like, very late in one of Naroditsky's speedruns, he faced a FIDE master and just annihilated him in about 11 moves. And it was in, like, the modern. It was not particularly dynamic opening. And Daniel didn't do anything particularly special either. Okay. This is interesting. So he's now double attacking that. And that's a right pain in the arse. Okay, let's push a pawn and get the knight to move along. It also now stops these points from advancing, which is a thought. Okay, well, that was just silly, wasn't it? By me. Okay, now I'm down a whole knight. This sucks ass. I'm putting my rook there. The reason is that I'd like to avoid being knight forkable. And I know that this configuration is... why didn't I go there and attack this pawn? King goes here. Okay, I think my best hope now is to try and play for a draw if I can. That's okay. So why does... I'm using a different browser here for this, like, each one. For personal reasons. I don't really know, you know. I'll keep eyes on that. Centralize the king. Or hide the king. Let's hide the king. I've got to be really careful about playing that, right? Because like if he puts his king here, guarding this square, pawn guards this square, then rook h1 could be checkmate if I've hemmed myself in with my own pawn. So I've got to be a bit careful about that. Okay, attacks my rook and defends this pawn. So I think I need to counter attack. Now this is knight forkable, but he's got his 2 moves away from that. So where's the knight going to go? He can go here, but actually I'm guarding that square with my pawn anyway. Oh no, my pawn. Okay. All right. I'm going to bring my king back. If my king and my rook are on different coloured squares, I know that they can't be forked by the knight. Why? Because knights always look at only squares of the opposite colour to the square they're on right now. Due to the nature of the knight move, it's an odd move. Or in the words of Beth Harmon, 1 square straight and 1 square diagonal, or 1 square diagonal and 1 square straight. That's what she said. Okay, now I'm going to have to try and bore him to death. Shouldn't be hard. If we can go 50 moves without a pawn move or without a capture, that's a draw. If I can get stalemated, that's a draw. If I can persuade him to blunder one of his pieces, I might have a hope. kind of tempted to go and get some coffee beans today, but I've resisted it. Okay. Just put that well out of harm's way. Now what he should be doing is like picking a target. So if he did that, he could gang up on this pawn. That's what he should be doing. He can't go there because pawn guards it. Oh, bugger. No, that's good. Okay, I'm going to resign it. I'm going to resign this. Learn the why behind the moves of game review, and then it'll say you can't have game review because you're not paying. Oh, got to play 4 more games to get a rating. Okay, should we do it? We'll do another one. We'll do another one really quickly, yeah? Now, okay, cool. So this is now the new black repertoire. So we're going Indian against 1d4. Indian style. And we're going to get a lot of Londons, guys. Prepare yourselves. This is the Indian game. It can go in several different directions. This is the East Indian defense, apparently. Okay. I'll try and get through these first, 5 games, whatever. Okay, you attack my knight. Whatever. If you would like to trade a bishop for a knight, be my guest. I play better than that when I'm playing 5-minute blitz. For crying out loud. Now this just helps me, I believe. Because moving, I could have also played d5, but d6 comes with an attack on the knight. Now I'm ready to castle. I've got 2 pieces out on the board. Both my bishops are now engaged. I mean, this one is locked and loaded, but it's not time to use that bishop yet. It hangs fire. I could harass the knight away. I think I will, because I know I'm castling short anyway. So getting a head start with these pawns up the board ain't no skin off my nose. Okay. What's the idea with that? I'm going to do this. Okay. The knight is undefended. So this would be a blunder because you'd lose the knight and lose it with check too. So now the knight's got to move again. So he's given me, and that just hangs the knight. Okay, he takes a pawn, I take a pawn. Now we have tension between the queens, but again, I'm up in material. Now, I could take with a king. That ain't as bad, as dumb as it looks, actually. Reason is it keeps the knight in the middle of the board where it's guarding the centre, okay? And the other thing is, the board is safer because the queens are off. So I'm not too worried about castling. I would like to engage this rook, but there are many ways to go about it. h6, for example. h5, h4. I could swing my rook out this way. I can play this, I can target this pawn. I would like to move this knight and target this pawn as well with my fianchetto bishop. So basically I've got a message from Apple saying, sorry, our browser sucks. You should have stuck with Chrome. Okay, I'm going to centralize my knight. I'm up a piece again. So I said all I had to do is grind it out. Yeah, and I didn't. I lost my grip on the game and blundered. This would be the best move here because it comes with, again, a continuity attack. But if he does that, I have this, but then bishop takes, actually. So I might have just blundered my piece right back. Welcome to my world. When is a capture not a capture? Right? Because it's not an equal trade. Yes, I take a minor. Right, he shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. I should not have done that. Right. I'm going to put my bishop here. Right? Why am I putting it here? Because look, there's an undefended pawn and a rook. And by the way, bing and bosh. and bang. But there's only two things. Bing and bang. So he's got to be careful now. So this guy does strike me as more of a beginner than the previous opponent. Okay, he's attacking a loose pawn, but he's missed this. I just literally spilt tea down my front. Okay, that, guys, is how my day is going today. I actually didn't even have to take the rook there. I could have just defended the pawn. But I'm up many materials, can't move the king. Sorry, can't castle because I've already moved the king. Okay. All right, there's a loose pawn. Loads of undefended stuff here. Loads of undefended stuff. Right, welcome to beginner chess. This is actually a skewer. Now we can get out of it with bishop e4. I might just play my king here. It defends this bishop because I might want to move this knight. If this bishop goes to here, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So if what? That's a very strange noise. It sounds like it's probably brought in something that's dead. Okay. Right, bishop defends that. Okay. So goldfish. We could actually do a goldfish speedrun. That might not be the dumbest thing in the world. Okay, I'm going to try and trade off the bishops now that my bishop is defended. And again, I've centralized my knight. Maybe we need a rule on this not speedrun, so don't talk shit while you're playing. My knight can go to this square. This is what I'm noticing, right? So I'm going to kind of try and play by intuition a little bit. Ooh! And that's a mistake at the very least. Why? I refer you to what we just said. Because the rook is here on the g-file, this pawn is pinned. Therefore, it is not guarding this square. Therefore, I can do this. Pawn can't take, and this is a fork, a knight fork on the king and the rook. I'm going to win the rook. And under normal circumstances, I would say, and the game. But, you know, hold my beer. Okay. But we are up 2 rooks now. Okay, I'm going to connect the rooks. And the threat is now a skewer. Skewer, oh wait, oh, good move, good move, good move. All right. So finishing the job here, king goes here. I'll just grab a pawn while I'm here. Let me just tidy up the pawns and then just like force something through. I could also actually put both rooks on the second rank. That is super duper principled. Okay, there's a check, but it doesn't bother me, so I'm going to do this. Pigs on 7th, as in gobble gobble gobble, gobble gobble gobble. Gobble. Alrighty, I'm going to stick my king here because I know it takes all day for that knight now to attack my king. 1, 2, 3 moves. Okay, now he attacks my bishop. Like, yeah, blah, blah. Let's stick the bishop here. Why? Because it's covering one of the squares around the kingliness. Okay, checkity-doo-dah. And he can't go here, and he can't go here. So now the king's next move is forced. Now what I'd love to do is bishop fork the king and the knight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pawn and see what my opponent does next. Because this would be... he threw in a check. Okay, well let's bring the king towards the middle of the board. And I know that from this position again, that knight can't move with check. Why? Because I'm on opposite colour. For a knight to be able to move with check, it has to be on the same colour as your king. If the knight was here, it could move to there or to there with check. for example. If the knight was here, it could go there or there with check. If the knight was here, by the way, nah, still too many moves. Alrighty. So let's finish the job. Check. And king has to go there. That's mate, isn't it? Problem is that that hangs the bishop. He can't move this pawn forwards, actually, because it's... I just play a waiting move then, eh? Because the pawn's actually defending the knight. Okay. Alright, let's just keep it simple. That's that or that is mate. Don't know why. Didn't I see that before? Because I'm dopey, that's why. Right. Speed running across the universe. You resign now. I want to finish. You lose your queen, you resign. You never said that in the rules. It's not in the rules, it's sportsmanship. Okay. Right, a loss and a win. Still 3 games off. Getting our rating. But I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying playing a fresh set of openings and just getting into chessing. Okay? Hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.